talking about the war, it's very important, and we are going to try to find a solution. I tried to find a solution about stopping the war, and I found, actually I gave it my best effort, I found it was not possible. So, thank you very much for coming. But I found a way to remove human suffering from war, okay? So we might not stop war, but we are able to remove human suffering from war. So that's something. Don't you think so? Okay, so we start with our presentation. We start first having only the old war process. The old war process was based in violence. It was only based in killing human beings. As we know, violence distorts everything, and it has been removed from every human activity. Direct violence does not exist anywhere else but in war. So, we know that violence turns a beautiful thing ugly. If you put violence into making love, it becomes rape. If you put violence into friendship, it turns the two people into enemies. If you put violence into any human activity, it turns it into the exact opposite. So, what we're trying to do here is to change the last human activity where violence is allowed, and that is war. Before there was no alternative. We thought war, as ugly as it is, it's the only thing we have. But now there is. So we should shield ourselves from the old war process, because it is something that can really kill us. War can happen anywhere, anytime, and it destroys lives. Imagine, for example, the burning hand allegory. Imagine you enter a village where people, they have only one way to cook, and that is they have to burn their hands to have their food cooked, because that's the only thing they know. So you say, no, I know many other ways to remove human suffering from cooking. Now, at first, they will look at you and they will say, well, that seems a little bit strange. What are you saying exactly? That is our tradition. That is how we do things. So who are you to say that we can cook without burning our hands? And you can still tell them, well, I can show you how to cook with an oven, with a microwave, with 1,000 other ways that you both keep the initial goal of having your food cooked, but you remove human suffering from that process. That is what Warality is. I call this a process Warality because I want to combine the element of having a reality show, because this new kind of war will be televised, so a reality plus war makes Warality. So now you have this new way of doing war where you keep the main characteristics of war, and like the struggle of two parties that they say, listen, we cannot agree. Okay? We cannot reach into a peaceful solution. We cannot divide things half-half. I want it all, you want it all. So, we are going to war. That's fine. From the point you have war until the end of the war, you follow a process. Until now, that process meant human suffering, killing, torture, rape, destruction of the infrastructure of every society involved. It meant human misery. Now we can change that process. We can change that process into a process that saves millions of lives that are not being killed. It benefits instead of destroying the societies of the rivaling parties. There is no destruction, no explosion, nothing. It gives financial power to the United Nations organization, since not only it stops spending money for refugee camps and peacekeeping missions, but also makes money from each new ancient war by the rights of broadcasting and copyright in general. So right now, we can imagine Ban Ki-moon, when he hears about this theory, he will say, yes, that's what I was looking all of my life. I'm tired of dealing with human misery. Let's do something better. You have the war, and you have a clear end in the end, a clear winner in the end, but you don't have human suffering anymore. So, what human activity can that be? Well, thousands of them actually, as long as they satisfy the criteria below. So, any human activity can be part of Warality, or the new ancient war process, but first it has to respect human rights, during and after the process. Second, its outcome can be measured objectively, beyond any doubt. For example, you cannot choose a singing contest, because you know that some judges might say, okay, yeah, this song was good, but for me, no, in my opinion is that, no. It has to be an activity that can be measured objectively by everybody. It must have a clear winner in the end. You cannot have, let's say, a soccer game that ends in a draw. You have to have a winner. It gives the involved parties the responsibility to win. For example, you cannot have a lottery and having Senor Pablo choosing the winner is... No. Both parties have to be involved. Finally, it allows the involved parties to give their best effort. Again, at the example of the lottery, you could have two representatives of the rivaling parties taking the draw, and then they would have the responsibility to win, but they would not be allowed to give their best effort. They would not be allowed to go home and say, I tried my best for my country, for my group, for my friends, for my loved ones. So it has to be an activity that gives them that right. And it has to have a clear set of rules that do not allow for any ambiguity, any disagreement on how the process should be carried on. You know very well some card games, you say, oh yeah, I know how to play it this way, I know how to play it the other way. The rules have to be very clear from the beginning. We're talking about war, and I'm dead serious when I talk about war. Okay, that was a joke, by the way. Okay. So how is the process of the new ancient war? What are we doing? Example, countries A and B, they go to new ancient war. So first, it's like going to the notary. They give to the UN a document describing the situation in case they win, what I will do to the losing party if I win. The UN Warality office will have to accept that proposal under the precondition, of course, that it respects the human rights of the losing party. I must add here that in the old war process, when officially the war would end, the worst part would start for the mothers and children and the elderly people. Like we have the classic case of the village being conquered and then the war ends because they have won. And what would they do after? Well, they would kill all the children, and they would rape all the women, and they would sell them for slaves. So it's very important after the process also that peaceful spirit continues. Then they choose a Warality template, the place and terms of the Warality, and they have agreed from before the war how long will it last. That is a new element here, because in the old war process they were supposed to last forever, like the winner was supposed to be forever. But here we say no. We might agree that the winner will have X rights to that petrol, to that oil-rich area, to whatever they want for a certain amount of time, for 5, 10, maybe a whole generation, 30 years. That will have again the benefit to turn the result into something that both the losing party can accept and the winning party can accept. The losing party will know that it's not forever, it's just for a period of that. After that, what do? Well, either we have another Warality process, or we have by that time reached to a mutually agreed solution. So what are those templates of the Warality? Well, those templates could be a number of things, but let's start with a template that is as close to war as possible, okay? Because we don't want the shift to generate a big change into humanity's psychology. We know that war is with soldiers, with weapons, with everything. Well, we can keep all those. Template 1 has two forms. You see, we're going to divide it now according to the Italian defense soccer system. When you're an Italian soccer player, they tell you you can let the player or the ball pass, but not both. Okay? So either the ball will pass or the player, not both. Here we will apply this to template 1 and we'll say either violence will pass or humans, not both, not combined. So if violence goes through, then you can have a template where robotic armies can fight the war for you. Why not? I mean, we have this automation trend in our society. We have automated everything, especially jobs that are very difficult or hard for humans. Well, why are we missing the job that is killing humans? Automate war. Make huge robotic armies or small robotic armies, however they want, to fight and declare the winner. And the responsibility will lie to the humans directing the robots. So they will still have the responsibility to fight. Or do it in a digital universe. Have an amazing war in supercomputers. Everything is real. The effect is real, the result is real, but human suffering does not exist anymore. Now, that is if we let violence goes through. If we let humans go through, obviously they cannot be killed, they cannot be hurt by any standard. So they can have already what we have and we know as paintball. Again, huge armies, huge soldiers, they can fight as long as they want, as much as they want. We can have international referees because there will be no danger for that. The process will be televised. The winner and the loser clearly will be declared at the end. That's another suggestion that you can have. Or, for the arms industry, that I will talk about later, to make more money, you can have high-tech, new generation guns with laser beams or radio waves, and every soldier will have its jacket. So at the point where it is hit, it's not a real hit, but it counts, the army gathers points. So let's have this also. If we want to go a little bit further away, in a more, let's say, civilized way, then we can have sports revisited, template 2. That is based on sports. We always say that a sport was the reenactment of war. Well, why not have the sport as the war? Why not have a championship between the rivaling parties in the sport that they will decide that it will decide the outcome of the war? No human suffering, no victims, and let me tell you, many more spectators than World Cup 2014 or any World Cup, okay? Because the outcome will be real. The parties could agree to compete in a championship. The template 3, the ancient Greek paradigm. Now that is my favorite best. You see, back in ancient Greece, people were trained to do, to exercise their bodies, their minds, and their hearts. Now they would exercise their bodies with martial art. So we can have one category that people fight with Aikido or other noble martial arts. Again, very carefully, points are gathered, and then for their heart, they can propose a contest where they, write original music, original poetry. We said that this might be a little bit objective, so this category will have lesser points. Or for their mind, they can play chess, they can solve puzzles, they can solve problems, problem solving. Anything that uses their mind, their objectivity. This will have the amazing advantage that everybody who wants to defend their country has to be trained in these categories. Therefore, it becomes a better person. Imagine a society where to be a warrior, you would have to be excellent in physical fitness, in a martial art, in chess, in being creative, in writing songs and poetry. For me, that would be a dream society, but we can make it come true. So what can we do to promote these things? We say that we can translate this work in the basic UN languages: Arabic, Russian, Spanish, French, Chinese. Another thing we can do is we can have a new ancient flame from Olympia, Greece, where the Olympic Games started initially, that would continue to be given from a state of one continent to a state of another continent, running continuously until we reach the Warality agreement. Because our purpose is every country to sign the Warality agreement. That says, from now on, if I have a war, I will do it the new ancient way, the Warality way. No more killing. Again, another thing we can have is organizing a Warality march every Sunday in different municipalities, culminating in a Warality concert at the National Stadium of Lima, then start the same process in a new country. Bit by bit, the idea is being diffused. So we are actually writing history right now, because this is the first presentation of the Warality theory. And I think humanity is ready. Humanity was ready a long time ago. We should have never had the old war process at the first place. Again, as voters, how can you press radically to change the situation? Well, you say to your favorite political party, I'm not going to vote for you unless you promise that at the first month of your governance, you vote for that. Very easy to do. So what are the arguments in favor of Warality? Let's stick a little bit to the theoretical/idealist part of the speech. The principle of reality is the pillar of Warality. What do I mean by the principle of reality? Now that's another part of the Warality, of the New Ancient Way, and a very basic part. It says humans and ideas have been living together for a long time. But what happened was that sometimes humans were using the ideas, and that is good. But sometimes ideas were using humans, and they were leading them to wars and to be killed and to be self-destructed, and that is not allowed anymore. So the principle of reality states it is allowed for an idea to be realized if it does not make worse the human reality. Okay? It has only the right to make the human level of living better, to ameliorate it. That is fine. But to make it worse, to make people being killed, to make people suffer for their ideas, it's not allowed anymore. That's the principle of reality. Now, which ideas made people suffer? Any idea can make people suffer. Any idea that becomes extreme or is infected by the only one truth virus, as I say. The only one truth virus is any idea that thinks, well, I'm the only one. Okay? Anything else does not deserve to exist. I'm the only one. So, if an idea is infected by the only one truth virus, then it tries to exterminate all the other ideas of the same category. And that leads to war. Second argument, the legal base to declare the old war process illegal. Now that's a very good argument for everybody who is a lawyer or works in a legal profession. It says that war are two people actually that are trying to kill one another. They're not trying to solve the problem. They're trying to kill one another. So if you take that into two human groups, then one human group tries to eliminate the other human group. That's genocide. And since genocide is illegal internationally as we speak, the whole notion of the old war process is illegal as well. Exclusion of taking human lives as one more clause in the existing legal framework. Already at the old war process we had many rules that if not respected by somebody, that somebody would be then a criminal of war. For example, the use of biological weapons, the use of chemical weapons, this was not allowed. Well, the same way, taking human lives, again, is not allowed, is illegal. Everybody that does that is a criminal of war. Fourth argument, fourth way to diffuse and spread the notion of warality. Old war process cannot be handled by humans. PTSD stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, I don't know really what was the worst thing that could happen to someone, being killed immediately at war or survive it. Because the people who survived it could not live a normal life afterwards. They could never readjust to that. They had gone through hell, and humans were not made to go through that. So here, all the people who are working at the medical professions can declare war illegal as an activity that is not made for humans. Another argument is okay, survivors of war unable to adjust to society. Again, these people would come back from war and would become a burden to society. They had been exposed to a lifestyle that allowed them to kill, to show every negative aspect of the human character without any punishment at all. They would go back to society and they would cost a lot of time, energy and pain doing the same things that they were doing during war. many nurses, many doctors, many social workers, not to talk about the family members and themselves, would suffer being exposed to the atrocities of the war. Another argument could be killing of humans is self-contradictory. Every war starts with a promise, I'll make your life better. But now, if you think about it, the war tells you, in order for me to make your life better, you have to give me your life. Now, what kind of an exchange is that? If I'm not there to enjoy the benefits of the war, why should I start the old war process at the first place? It's self-contradictory. We have a healthy egoism here. We want to live. Another argument would be old war process as a deeply and totally anti-religious act. You know, one of the greatest goddess creations is the human life, or every life form. And I'm talking about goddess and not God, because it's women that have the two main characteristics of God. They are creators of life, and they love and protect their creation, their children, with all of their mind. So, why destroy the goddess creation? It's a direct attack to the work of God, of goddess. Another argument would be killing of humans as betraying the initial goal of society. Every society is here to protect people, not to send them to be killed. Again, very, very contradictory. We want a process that will promote the interest of society without sacrifice their members. And the ninth argument is negation of violence on a mass level. Well, if we negate micro-violence, like domestic violence, because it's a crime, or violence in any other form that is a crime, why should we accept violence on a mass level? 10th argument, you are young, you know it better, you just want to live, okay? Nothing is worth being killed for. You just have plans, you have dreams, you just want to live. Now, that was the theoretical part, which is very good, but we have to be realistic in order to make our plan work. So, one of the main parties that we have to convince is the arms industry. The arms industry is an industry of $1.5 trillion a year. That's one of the biggest markets ever. If we don't have them on our side, nothing will work. They can bribe our politicians, they can buy governments, they can start wars. They have an amazing power. They have to be with us. So how are we going to make them to be with us? Since they will see their profits being diminished. Well, we have again 6 proposals that will suggest that in some of them the profits will not be lost. The first solution, it's business as usual. Sometimes, for example, if you produce oranges and you are the government and you know that they have been produced too many oranges and the prices are going low, you buy the oranges and you don't use them. You just buy the oranges, you dump them, and you pay the producers, and that's how you keep the price where you want it, at the level where you want it. So business as usual means keep buying guns from the arms industry, but not use them until they have time to shift, to make other type of guns. Another proposition, another variation of the first solution, life tax. We pay to the state for everything, like housing, to make bridges, whatever. How about we pay for keeping our life? How about we pay a life tax? This money will go directly to the arms industry from not producing arms that can kill us. Second solution, the ammunition revolution. We already talked about paintball. Instead of real bullets, they have other kind of bullets. Again, huge profits for the arms industry, but people are not being killed. Third solution, diminished duration of results allows for repetition of new ancient war. If, as we said, the winner can have its rights for 5 or 10 years, that means you can have another new ancient war after, and another one. So that is the market principle that says, I cannot make a lot of money with a lot of profit selling one expensive product, but I can make the same amount of money selling many less expensive products. So the arms industry again will be selling guns, maybe with a less profit, but it will have more wars worldwide. People will not be afraid of having war anymore. For solution shift of the arm industry, the 10 biggest arm industries in the world are from the USA and Europe. 6 of them have only a small portion producing arms. They are also into other things like space exploration. They produce engines for research and other domains. So if you have an enterprise like that, it's very easy to realize that, okay, arms do not work anymore. Let's focus more on the other products, on the other activities of the enterprise. Shift of the arm industry. Maybe the states can help. Another solution, shares of the TV rights. Shares of the TV rights is the televised war will produce enormous amounts of money. Profit, pure profit. Some of them, they can go as a payment to the arms industry to be on the side of the Warality solution. Final solution, the robots at the rescue, as we said, robotic armies. So the arms industry start producing fully automated armies, okay? The profit will be even more there. This might be shocking, but I just wanted to tell you that that is what we don't want to happen anymore. This is not theory. Right now, people are being killed. Right now, people are being killed. The little girl in the middle, she was alive just 2 years ago. She was in Syria, an ongoing war. She was taken by the soldiers and raped and tortured and killed. This angel. We are not talking about a proposal that we might or not accept. We don't have the right to do that. On your left, there is a Japanese soldier using a Chinese villager for practice with his bayonet. He would just stab him. Like that. Japanese, back in 1937, they invaded China, and because they thought Chinese people were subhumans, they did that. It's not Japanese and Chinese the problem. In every war, because humans are not made to kill one another, you have to think of your enemy either as very evil or as subhuman. You have to make a trick at your conscience to allow you to make the unthinkable. Take a human life. There is a baby hanging at the top of the picture from a Japanese soldier, and a parent mourning for his son in a bomb attack. So, what are we going to do about all this? You have the power to stop it. One man cannot do anything. But all together, we have the power to do it. So, I don't know what you think, but I think you should be on the side of Warality. Okay? Thank you very much.